We're here with Braden Bishop, Seattle Mariners outfielder, co-founder of For Mom, along with his brother Hunter, in support of their late mother Susie, who was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's disease in 2014, which she battled through 2019. Braden, what have you learned about Alzheimer's during this whole time from, your mother's diagnosis, to where we're at here in 2021?
Yeah, Alzheimer's is so interesting because, as you know, we all know the brain's so complex. So I remember when she was diagnosed, I had no idea. And, at the time, a 21-year-old, this is thrown on you, and you know that what they tell you, which is obviously your brain's going to deteriorate. But I didn't know what that looked like in physical form. Mm-hmm. So to see how the brain affected the way she ate, the way she walked, the way she talked, it was truly, truly eye-opening. And then also on the flip side, to see how it affected the people indirectly affected physically. So my father, my brother, myself, her sisters, her parents, and the toll it takes on the people who caregive. Because at a certain point with Alzheimer's, the person who's affected forgets, who they are, where they are, and how to even take care of themselves. Then it all falls on to the caregivers, and that's where you really see, mental health, physical health issues from caregivers. So those are the two biggest things that I learned going through the process.
I can imagine it being stressful, and that's probably, a gentle term for it. But, the toll that it takes physically and emotionally, like you said, on the caregivers is one that people don't often talk about because, you see this person that was your rock, and then, right, the tables kind of turn on them. And, managing that is a difficult situation that we really aren't prepared for at such a young age.
Exactly. And the way I kind of describe it to people is it went from my mom having to change my brother and my own diapers to us having to change hers. And that's just not something that you ever want to go through with, somebody who you saw as so strong and a hero figure.
Yeah, when my mom got sick with cancer, it was something similar, not as intense, but it was the same thing where we wound up taking the role of caregiver. So in that sense, I could, empathize with you. This is Women's History Month, and obviously this is a cause close to your heart. How do you feel you're using your mom's memory to continue to, raise awareness about Alzheimer's disease?
Obviously that's the number one goal, is to honor her memory. And, the way I look at it is it's just me who can fill her shoes. It takes a village, and, my brother and I most directly, my father as well. It takes all of us to fill her shoes and to honor her memory. And, she was such a strong individual, so organized, and like one of the best leaders that I've ever seen in my entire life. And if I could be half of that every time I, wake up and go into the real world, then I'm doing her, the best service that I can possibly do her.
Understood. And here you are, on your way to the major leagues, and playing professional baseball is no easy task. And you're trying to do that while, dealing with caring for your mom from afar. Can you talk a little bit about how you managed that while trying to compete at the sport's highest level?
It was at first it was extremely difficult because, while it did provide a sense of relief when I would step between the white lines, it was really hard to, basically put everything I had into baseball without feeling guilty. Because I remember when she had first got diagnosed, I had asked her, do you want me to come home? I'll do it in a second, because obviously at the end of the day, baseball, what I do, but not who I am. So I had offered that, and she had told me, no, this is your dream. You need to go and play. Basically made it seem like you can do the best for me by going and playing and enjoying it and continue to climb the ladder. And so that's what obviously I did. And while it was still extremely tough, it provided such a perspective on what's really important. And while I still put pressure on myself and stressed out about results, once the game ended, it wasn't nearly as big a deal to me because I knew, not only her, but just what people struggle through, from your mother having cancer to my mom having Alzheimer's, to people not being able to put a roof over their head. So it definitely provided a sense of perspective that totally changed my career.
I saw you write about it a bit, about that, how, athletes exist wider than what they do inside the lines. And, often, right, athletes are just kind of told to go shut up and play. But, here you are, you're like, I have a platform, to be able to, elevate this cause. And now hearing you say, like, hey, this gave me perspective, but also like different purpose. Do you see more of that coming along in MLB with, your teammates and just causes, coming up through the league?
Oh, absolutely. I think more so than ever, you see, more players getting involved, and whether it's philanthropy or social issues. And, for me, I think that's the way that it should be. Obviously LeBron talked about it a little bit, like about a week or two ago, but just like there's so many people that look at us and we have the ability to affect so many people. And if we're not doing it positively, then what are we doing? Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of the way I view it. Is I have this whole Alzheimer's community that might not be looking just at me, but if I can affect the community in a positive way, then that can affect real change and bring hope to a lot of people.
Right, and we're trying to inspire hope, whether it's, hope for young kids who watch you play to get on the field, and then hope for everybody else that, we can make change, whether it's, each one teach one, or, how can we spread that to, a larger group. I'm looking this year during spring training, you're asking fans to pledge anywhere near from $10 to $40 per hit that you get during spring training. Where'd you come up with that concept, and how do you hope that drives engagement to what you're doing with the charity?
So I actually did it, and so this charity started super grassroots, very organically. It was more like a campaign to kind of raise money, and because obviously I didn't have financial resources. Mm-hmm. So in 2018 spring training, I put out same tweet. Basically, I'm going to pledge money. I think back then it was like $1 per mm-hmm. hit. But I had a ton of players, both pitchers, hitters, coaches, college players, high school players, all come out saying that they'll do the same. And unfortunately, at the time, we didn't have a platform like we do now to kind of track everything. And then we raised a ton of money. That was like the first time that For Mom was kind of seen league-wide. So that definitely helped us grow. And then in 2019 and 2020, we held a Top Golf tournament as our in-person charity event. And it was huge, 300 or 500 people both years, raised, $60,000 plus both times. And then obviously this year with COVID, I thought it would be cool to kind of throw it back and do the hits for Mom again. And now we have the ability to track it, so that'll be nice.
Definitely. And it's, again, a way for fans and supporters, to stay with it and follow what you're doing. The last bit here that I wanted to connect also was this season, Athletes Unlimited has teamed up with
Yep.
For Mom, and two of the volleyball athletes right now, Leanna Sabeldin and Kaylee Mans, have chosen to play for your charity. How does that make you feel to see athletes from other sports coming together to support what you're doing?
Honestly, it's amazing. I have so much respect for those two. I went to school with Liana, so obviously I know her more than Kaylee, but, from what the interactions that, we've had and they've had with us, they're both amazing human beings, and we're excited that, that they chose us to support, and we're really excited to follow them.
Yeah, it's been an exciting development, with what they did with the softball. I know that one of the other softball players also got behind the charity, and I'm about to, after I get off the phone with you, I got a call with Liana in about, a half an hour. So,
nice.
I'm going to put those two things together for the article. If fans want to reach out, with you via, social or donate, how can they get in touch?
So I'm very active on social, and I definitely interact with anybody. So on Instagram, it's at Braden Bishop 7, or sorry, at Braden Bishop 1, and then on Twitter, it's at Braden Bishop 7.
Right, and the website is formom.org.
The number 4mom.org, and then on Twitter, it's 4mom_ALZ, and then on Instagram, it's the 4mom charity.
Well, Braden, you've been more than generous with your time. I wish you success on the field and both off with what you're doing. And, we look forward to watching you play here, with the full season ahead in 2021.
No doubt. Thank you so much for this.